You can't tell me that Cliff ain't got something going on and the scandal is not far behind. Let's talk about my theory and get into the latest episode of Belle Collective now on Reality Recap. What's up, y'all? It's your girl V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk session. And today we are talking about this past Friday's episode of Belle Collective. Before we get into it, let's take care of business. Please make sure you follow me at what you see at the bottom of your screen on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's reality_recap. And like this video, please share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the bottom of the screen. Reality Recap 2876 is also linked in my bios across all my social media for easy access. And hit the alerts after you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my Tea Talk sessions. All right, now let's get into it. We started out with a double date between Latrice, Cliff, Letitia, and Glenn. They went on a cooking class double date, which was actually really cute. And I was surprised that Cliff, Mr. Cliff, even wanted to go because, he's usually so men wear the pants, you do the cooking, you home pregnant barefoot, like. And he definitely has shifted for me this season, and that's part of my theory that something's going on with him. Um, so in this episode with their double date, they just catch up couple wise, and Latrice pretty much announces without really seeming like she had a conversation with Cliff that she's ready for a baby. And Cliff is like, nah, I wanted that 2-3 years ago. I'm too old now. I don't want that. And Latrice is saying, like, you were old then. So what's the difference? But he's saying, men want things when they want it. And that's it. He wanted it then. She didn't want it. He's moved past that. He doesn't want that anymore. And it's just really strange to me, listening to them even in the conversation later on in the episode where she harps on the fact that, and rightfully so, let me be clear, that it was her birthday and their anniversary when she was in the hospital. He didn't go get her roses or anything. He left saying he was going to check on the business and never returned. She looked on the camera and he was at their business taste and he was drinking, getting drunk, didn't go home. And yeah, he's just a big shift in Cliff from previous seasons where we saw him pretty much wanting to know her every move, showing up where she was, to now that they have taste and they've built these condos on top of the establishment. He doesn't come home, he's staying there. He doesn't really check in on what she's doing, leaving her at the hospital. He wanted a baby, now he doesn't. He went to Colombia, which I don't understand why we're not talking about that more. But when men go to Colombia, they're not going to get their teeth done. And if they are going to get their teeth done, I was about to say did. If if they are going to get their teeth done, they're doing something else too, especially if they go on a guy's trip. The fact that he went out there and the way his face lit up when at guys' night in the episode they talked about planning another trip to Colombia, his face lit up from ear to ear. Like something's going on with Cliff. I can't place my finger on it. Because yes, does he still seem supportive and tells her he loves her and all those things when she was upset with him for not coming back to the hospital? Yes, he does those things. But something has shifted, and I feel like a scandal is not too far behind. While we worried about Selena's fiance having this alleged baby, which I think is nonsense, while we are busy worried about Glenn flirting with women in the DMs and him constantly in the doghouse, I think there's something going on with Cliff, and we need to watch that because I don't know. You know, Latrice also blamed Cliff for wanting to have a baby now because she's saying that he left her in the hospital and she knows that she have a baby, the baby wouldn't leave her. You don't know that girl. You don't know that for sure. And she had a name for the baby, y'all. She called the baby Cliffarella, which inspired the thumbnail for this episode, which I was like, and I was cracking up when Cliff said, "Yeah, that baby will leave you, especially if you name it Cliffarella." I was cracking up at that for real. But yeah, she's done a complete 180. I wonder if she feels in her gut the shift as well. And now she's like, okay, because her reasoning behind it was a little weird. I could see more if she was saying, "Listen, I went through this health scare with ththese blood clots. I will come to the realization that I want to have a child." Not that she's blaming it on Cliff because he left her in the hospital and now she wants a baby because the baby will never leave her. I don't know. I wonder if she feels the same shift that I'm noticing in Cliff, and that's why now she's taking heed to what he wanted years ago and wanting to have a baby. Also in the double date, Glenn and Letitia talk about they're still not being intimate. He's missing it, but saying that it has opened the doors for other, connection, intimacy through other things. And he's just holding steadfast to it. Sometimes I wonder too, is that really the case or is that just what they're saying because of the ridicule that she receives online for continuing to stay with him after all that he's done? I don't know if I believe that they really not hunching on each other. I'm just be honest, but she's saying as far as on the show, she's holding steadfast to it. It's giving her clarity. She is sticking to that. And he's still trying to work through getting back on her good graces and her draws, honey. So we'll see how that goes. Also on the double date, Latrice said that she had a conversation with old flip flop and Carrie. And Carrie admits that she threw the Selena fiance rumor on the guys because it was just easier to throw it on the guys. So it was kind of like she's saying she threw it on them, but that's actually where she got it from. And it wasn't through Marie saying it out loud. It was more so because Cliff mentioned it to Carrie's husband. Carrie's husband told her. It got all around. So Cliff, who says all the time, "I'm not one of the Bills. We not the Bills. They the Bills. Leave the gossip to them." Kind of got himself caught up in some gossip. I don't think he meant to, but he got himself caught up in some gossip. And I was saying, "Oh, so you a Belle after all, huh?" Because he definitely got caught up in it. I don't think he meant for it to get around that way, but best keep it to yourself or share it with the person that the rumor is involved with and leave it at that, honey. Um, we then see Carrie. She's still trying to sell her business, but I don't understand why she won't close the doors. If she has other successful not franchises, but other successful locations. It looks like she did a brunch this past weekend where she had Glenn there hosting the brunch. I don't know why she didn't have Letitia. That would be great. Even for that location that's not doing well. If Letitia is the queen of brunches and you own a brunch spot, I don't see why they couldn't use that to bring revenue in to the failing location, or if that doesn't help there in one of your other thriving locations. But it seems like she's being very stubborn. She sits down with her mom and her husband, and they're both telling her, like, what's the end game here? What's the plan? You're hemorrhaging out money. She says she's using upwards of 5 or 6 figures of her influencer money to keep the doors open because there's employees there. But I don't understand why not close the doors and let the employees work at your other locations. It's just not making sense why she's so gun ho on keeping that location open if it's not doing well. It's not a sense of failure. If you telling me you have other locations, they're thriving, they're doing well, what's the problem? It just seems more of a pride thing and not a smart business move. But that's normally what companies do, right? If they close one location and if they have others, if there's still qualified employees that live in the vicinity, it doesn't seem like these locations are that far from each other. I don't know for sure, but they could possibly go work or help out at those locations. Or, you have to do what's best for you in business. If you let them know that, listen, this is coming and they can prepare, I don't see what the problem is. I really, really don't. It just seems, again, it doesn't seem like a smart business move on her part. And I'm still not the greatest fan of Carrie on this show. I've said this before. This Selena fiance rumor thing, Mike's rumor thing, is not the first time we see her start something and then backpedal. Even when she tried to start with Marie in the last season, she doesn't stand on 10 toes on the things she says. The storyline of the business is cool, but what else does she have really going on? I don't know how she fits here. I really don't. I've said that before, but I don't know how she fits here. I don't. Selena's back with her new smile. She sits down with Tamra and she tells Tamra that it was quite the health scare. And I'm listening like, Selena, you didn't tell these people that you had high blood pressure or that you're on medication. It's a surgery, it's anesthesia. You have to disclose these things. And then on top of that, she doesn't take her medicine. So as they were trying to give her the needles to inject to make her mouth numb, her blood pressure is going up and up and up. And she about to have a heart attack to get some new teeth. Why would you do that? Even if you don't take your medicine on a regular, you should have took it before you went in there. That made absolutely no sense to me, but the teeth look good though. I was like, "Girl, she the doctor. The teeth look good." So she got her wish before the wedding, but they look really, really good. Also in that conversation, Tamara tells Selena about her timbre museum that I talked about in my last recap that I told you I didn't hit for me like you thought it was. And now that Tamara has done this museum, she's like, now expecting everyone else to be transparent. Like, I shared all this, everybody else needs to be transparent. It's like, sweetie, everybody's been transparent since the beginning. You're the only one that hasn't. So you can't demand that of others now that you put this little museum together when you should have been friends with these people and letting them know your life way before we got into this fifth, sixth, whatever season we're in at this point. That made no sense to me. It was like, girl, pipe down a little bit, because I told y'all how I feel about Tamara right now on the show, and that museum isn't what I need from her. I need her to be a part of this group. I need her to be a little messy, share her life, her relationship dynamic like everybody else is doing, her business dynamic like everyone else is doing. So I was not moved by that Tamara museum, and then her saying that everybody now has to be transparent because she did that just further annoyed me. Like, girl, please. They then had guys' night. Glenn acting like a bell. He another one. Not only Cliff with his spreading rumors on accident. Glenn acting like a bell. He coming there with a bag for Mike, a baby bag, trying to kind of make light of. So he say, I think he was being messy and just happy that the rumors are now about somebody else other than him. But he comes in there with a baby bag for Selena's fiance, like, yeah, just trying to make light of the rumor going on. That's not funny. I don't think Selena saw that clip and thought that was funny either. But he was being messy. I said, yep, here's another bell. The bells is rubbing off on their husbands for sure. They were still talking about what happened with the last season between Cliff, Glenn, the whole start of Glenn being in, was it Amanda's? What's her name? Amanda's DMs, and how that came about. And Glenn, I guess maybe he still needs to get off his chest saying, like, look, if that was at my house, I would have shut it down. Cliff saying it shouldn't have been nothing to shut down, right? Like, you can't be friendly. He told him, stop being friendly with these hoes. Great advice. Hope you're taking it, Cliff. But yeah, I guess they still talking about that. I guess they had to have one hash out at guys' night, and it seems like they've gotten over it. At the end of the episode, Latrice meets with Stormy, and it's an uplifting conversation, right? She's just giving Stormy her flowers with all she's done, her businesses, her growth. She's a boss, a mega boss, and this was really our introduction for Stormy into, Belle Collective Birmingham, which aired right after this episode of Belle Collective. It was interesting to hear too, Latrice talk about, because we don't hear about that often, her business and how the neighbors, seems like it's a predominantly white neighborhood, and they are calling the police on her 20, 30 times a night, or not on her, but on her business, saying they're loud and that there's other restaurants or lounges in the area, but they continue to call the police on her. Now, I will say, y'all know there was some stuff actually going on there where the police had to be called, bartenders outside fighting. So it's like you got to keep it clean. Latrice, too. Make sure you hire in the right people, especially if you are dealing with those things. You want to have an upstanding business. Not saying that she doesn't, but there has been some stuff on social media, and I'm sure that doesn't help the situation that she's going through there. But just hearing her talk about her struggles with the business and working through it, I had no idea that they were calling the police that often on her business is enough to make you want to change locations after putting all that hard work into it. She's also saying that the neighbors are holding her back from opening or renting out the condos that they built on top of Taste. They're holding up permits or things like that because of maybe the complaints of the business. So I said, "Ooh, you need to get them things rented as soon as possible so Cliff stops staying up there," was what I was thinking. But yeah, it was just an uplifting conversation, and it was our segue into Belle Collective Birmingham. And Latrice also told Stormy that she's thinking about moving her surgery back. She's supposed to have surgery to remove fibroids that they found. And she wants to move it back. She's saying that she just has so much on her plate business wise. And even if Cliff steps up, she has to train him on what to do. I think he'll be fine with the people that work at the business. And I didn't understand why she's pushing that back if she needs that to move forward with having a baby and what she said. So it was a little contradictory there. I'm not sure, if she's just fearing the surgery after what just happened with the blood clots. But I was like, girl, you just announced you want to have a baby. Now you're going to push the fibroid removal surgery back? Not making sense. And I just don't agree with that. I want her to be healthy and get the surgery done and move on. I don't know the extent of it. She said it was very painful the last time. I don't know what the recovery is like after that. And I get it, but it's never a good thing to push off surgery. If the doctor's saying you have to have it, I am a firm believer of doing and following the doctor's orders. So I hope that everything's okay and she moves forward and does what she has to so we can get Cliffarella here. All right. But yeah, great episode. I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised that we are actually getting two Bell Collectives at the same time. I was really expecting Carlos to cut Bell Collective off or put him on pause while Birmingham was on, because he good for a mid-season break, honey. But I'm glad to see both of them on. My recap is already out on Bell Collective Birmingham. So yeah, I enjoyed that first episode too. So make sure you check out that recap as well. All right. But yes, that is my thoughts on the latest episode of Bell Collective. Before I get out of here, let's take care of business one more time. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. What you see here on the bottom of the screen, reality_recap, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the screen at Reality Recap 2876. It's linked in my bios on all my social medias for easy access for you to get to. Like this video, please share it, subscribe, set your alerts so you don't miss any of my Tea Talk sessions recapping all the trending reality TV shows. All right. And as I always say before I end, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Peace.